The lawsuits, the outrage have dominated the national headlines, but there is plenty of support for the governor's migrant relocation plan and the way it has focused national attention on border security and immigration issues, which is exactly what the governor wanted. Ernesto Ackerman heads an organization called the Independent Venezuelan American Citizens. He is a longtime South Florida resident and Venezuelan immigrant, and unlike many protesting this week, he firmly supports those migrant flights. Ernesto, I know this was a little spontaneous today. I am so glad to have you on this program.
Thank you, Glenna. Thank you so much for having me.
So I understand during the break, I was told that you were indeed able to hear our last segment with the attorney for the migrants. And I was wondering, just generally speaking, what do you make of that lawsuit?
Well, I think the whole immigration law is broken. And that's why, lawyers go to those little corners and take by tweezers, pieces of the law, and then they do whatever they do. That's the job. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know exactly the law.
So let me ask you this way then. You've kind of, for full transparency, you've kind of been a go-to guy for me on Venezuelan issues for a very long time, and we have a governor now who vehemently opposes the social dictatorship, as he calls it, that Nicolas Maduro has formed in Venezuela. We've watched the social and economic unraveling of Venezuela and its people. And we hear the governor and we hear many of the Republicans in South Florida taking every opportunity to oppose that and socialism. And yet they are now opposed to having the people fleeing that take refuge in South Florida while they wait for their asylum claims. What do you make of that?
Well, Glenna, we need to see that in 2 years since the administration of President Biden took office, there is more. We don't know exactly, 3, 4, or 5 million. You can do any number you want. Only God knows how many have entered in those 2 years. Why the Democrats that have the Congress, the Senate, and the presidency, why they don't propose an immigration reform, something to do so we don't have this kind of problem.
Well, but Ernesto, there has been immigration reforms, definitely by South Florida congressmen and women of both parties. It just can't get through in a bipartisan way the rest of the country. But here we are right now. To your point, the numbers are record number of people crossing the border during the Biden administration. What do you propose? You're very supportive of this relocation plan, but is that the way to do this?
Well, after 2 years, we don't hear anything and nothing is happening, and the border, even you don't agree, is still open because the border is open. And that's why we have 3-4 million people coming in that we don't know who they are. As I explained to you, only 13 guys went to New York and destroyed the 2 towers. Only 13.
Okay, well that's kind of, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's kind of apples and the 9/11 people who got through the border, criminals, is kind of apples and oranges to the people we're talking about now in Martha's Vineyard. And let me just ask you this, because you bring up a very good point. Border security versus desperate families is really what we're talking about now. How to secure the border against crime and drugs, and how to admit desperate families under the immigration rules that the United States has and has always had in a very humane way, but for certain periods of history, which is a whole other story. How do we do that?
Lena, we need to filter who is coming and who is not coming. All these people that is coming from Venezuela don't deserve the political asylum. They're coming for economic reasons. There is economic reasons in all over the world. And the United States cannot open the borders and have here millions and millions of people coming in because they have economic problems. there is so many things in this issue, Glenna, that people is not talking about. How can we see the videos in the media, how these people come and they are poor people. There is people that don't have money. How can they pay the coyotes when we know these people is charging $5, $6, $8,000? Who is supporting this? Who is paying for all of this?
An
And these
interesting
people,
question. And then when they do get to the border, should they have the opportunity to make the asylum request? The governor says the asylum process is being abused. That's what the governor told us this week. But the asylum process is there. So once they present, are you in favor of allowing these people to make the asylum request and maybe
do
deny
you
it?
know, Dana, do you know that there is more than 200 or 300,000 Venezuelans with political application for more than 6 years? There is cases with more than 6 years. These people had been waiting in less, and now we have 3 million people coming in. How are we going to solve this? That we cannot have, again, we cannot have an open border. Everybody comes here, applies for political asylum, stays here for 6, 7 years with papers. And when are we going to finish with this? What is the end? So what I think, and it's not like everybody wants to make it look like that it's a political reason, it was a ring bell, something that he called the attention of everybody. And now everybody's talking about the problem. So let's see if there will be a solution, because now comes the election, and hopefully they're going to lose the Congress and Senate. And let's see what's going to happen if we can put an end to this craziness in the border.
So the election in November this week, the South Florida has probably the largest Venezuelan community outside of Venezuela in Doral, in Weston. In Doral this week, there were some once solid Republican voters who were Venezuelan Americans who out and out said that this will affect their vote in November. Are you seeing that?
No, I really don't. And you know, if you look at those manifestations, it's not more than 20 people. So I don't think that's the majority. The majority came to here to respect the law, to make everybody live in freedom and democracy, which is not happening. So I think 3, 4 that got changed, it's okay. This is a free country. You can decide whatever you want. But the majority, what I am receiving, is supporting that we need to put a control in the border.
Ernesto Ackerman, it is always good to talk to you. I love having our conversations, and I appreciate that you were on with us today.
Glenna, thank you very much. And by the way, Happy New Year to all the Jewish people.
Thank you, and very same to you.
Thank you.